How's it going, people? And welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the Jumper Punch channel. If you haven't already hit subscribe, make sure you hit subscribe, hit like down and hit the notification bell. Well, welcome to a new show called the Grand Slam Grind, where we talk all things tennis and only Grand Slams only. And when it gets hot in Melbourne, what is it? It's tennis season, isn't it, boys?
So exactly right, Nas. That's it. Exactly right. What a time to be alive.
It's the best. When January comes along, those 2 weeks come along, mate. Well, now it's 3. But when those 2 weeks come along, mate, you know that green ball's flying across the net.
Best time of the year, in my opinion.
It is.
I'm sure some of the AFL fans and the F1 fans of Melbourne and Australia in general would tend to disagree with me. But, yeah, my bias is definitely towards the Australian Open, best time of the year.
So this show is, I'm just give you a short little intro. So throughout the year, we'll be going through all the Grand Slams. So Australian Open, Roland Garros, Wimbledon, and the US Open. We'll be coming to you maybe throughout the rounds, round 2, 4, the quarterfinals, the semifinals, and the finals. And we'll be previewing them and reviewing them. So what better way to start the year with the Australian Open and the best atmospheric slam, I think, in the whole Grand Slam calendar is the Australian Open. I welcome my 2 Greek co-hosts, Greek, Harry Manaras and Dean Zanatidis. It feels a little bit weird. I feel like the odd one out.
Yeah, I know, right?
They got the Sulaki and they got a Canoli and me.
You definitely are, Mark. You definitely are. And to our viewers, just a fun fact here: Melbourne, Greece's 3rd largest city, in case you didn't know that. So, of course, you're the odd one out here.
That's it. That's it.
We've got Lygon Street. I've got Lygon Street. And you got Oakley there.
We got Oakley, Vanilla.
Who else? You got Fairfield, Thornbury,
at Northgate, everywhere. 7-0.
Everywhere.
So how are your holidays, boys? Refreshed, ready to go?
Yeah, just on the holidays at the moment. I got a few more weeks left, and I'm able to watch the tennis in my holidays. So I'm very lucky. I can go to the Oz Open quite a few days, and looking forward to it starting tomorrow.
Yeah. Harry?
Yeah, likewise. Worked pretty much all the way through. Had a couple of days off for the United Cup just after New Year's. Schedule worked out really well for me, so took full advantage of that, and got a nice 2-week little break as well. And you know where I'm definitely setting up shop these next 2 weeks. I'll probably be flocking in every single day to Melbourne Park.
Melbourne Park. Yeah.
That's it.
With bells on, and smiling like Luna Park. Yeah.
So we had a chance to watch all the tennis. A bit of caught at the Adelaide Open, Brisbane International, and the United Cup. So we had who did win the United Cup? Because
in Germany in the end.
Germany did. Yeah.
They downed Poland in the final, saving match points as well. So a really good tournament. But Germany were eventual champions.
Yeah. Mate, Zverev coming along nicely.
Zverev did very well. I think he's back to his top form, actually. Back in the top 10. I know he lost to Demonor, but he's actually looking very good. Like, he serves. He's not really double faulting anymore. And he's hitting well. He's hitting the ball very heavy. And I'm interested to see how he goes in the Oz Open, because I think he can go very far.
I think he can.
Totally agree with you, Dean.
And he can travel far. Yeah, definitely.
100%, boys. And Dean, you mentioned his serve. I was actually literally courtside to the Greece-Germany tie in the quarterfinals of the United Cup. He downed Stefanos Tsitsipas 6-4, 6-4, but something I've never, ever seen before, or probably for a very long time in a game of tennis. I know it's only a best-of-3 format, but he was serving 80% first serves in both sets when he beat Stefanos 6-4, 6-4. So I think set 1 was 85% first serve in, and then it just dropped marginally to 81%. So if he's going to serve that high, his first serve in, and he's got a big serve on him, he can consistently drop 200, just north of 200, just shy of 200 when he's going for the placement serve and whatnot. I know he's been drawn in the same section as Carlos Alcaraz. I'm definitely sure it's not going to be an easy match for Carlos. I definitely do believe they'll meet in the quarterfinals.
Yeah.
I'm predicting a 5-setter there. I don't think anyone else in that section can knock either player out.
Yeah, I agree.
That's that's a must-watch. If you can get tickets to that, great. If you're at home watching it, get the popcorn ready because that's going to be a really good quarterfinal.
Be an epic, 100%. We move over to the Brisbane International, where we saw Grigor Dimitrov win his first title in over 6 years, and that's his 9th ATP title. He's playing some good tennis over the past year and a bit, I'd say.
Yeah, I think he's playing very well at the moment. I feel like he's always had the game. It's just he looks good on the court. Everything looks good. The serve, the forehand, the backhand. I don't know. I feel like it's a bit more mental with him.
Mental, yeah.
But he looks very good. Like he can. I think he's in Medvedev's side of the draw, and I think they probably should meet in the 4th round if it all goes to plan. And I think he can trouble him. Like I know Medvedev does well at the Oz Open, but if Dimitrov's in form, he won his first title in was it 6 years?
Yeah, over 6 years. Yeah,
6 years. So he's in form. So it'll be interesting to see how Dimitrov goes this Oz Open.
Yeah, and just on that thing, you mentioned Daniil Medvedev, and I'm going to mention another player as well who's in the same boat as him because I found it quite interesting and a little bit extraordinary to say the least. In Yannick Sinner, obviously Yannick had a fantastic back half of 2023. I think his last 23 matches, he won 21 out of 23. Novak Djokovic beat him.
Correct.
It was one of the only ones to beat him. It was something ridiculous. He was plucking trophy after trophy, banking those ranking points, and that's why he's got the number 4 seed. But obviously, yes, you touch base on Daniil Medvedev. He's always super strong here at the Oz Open. Had a slip up last year, went down in the 3rd round to Sebastian Korda, which was a massive shock surprise. But he's normally consistently a bit this year. To the European, to go back, it's very cold there. I would have thought they would have come here a little bit earlier, maybe played a Brisbane International or United Cup, something like that. But no lead-up events for the two of them, just on the practice courts and the gym.
Yeah.
So let's see how they fare. But they're in a bit of a tricky quarter because, of course, not Yannick Sinner, but the Daniil Medvedev one is as well because you've got Grigor Dimitrov, you've got Holger Rune, and you've also got the tricky Frenchman, lefty, tall, big server in Hugo Humbert as well, who came leaps and bounds last year from a ranking of outside the top 100. He's currently sitting just outside the top 20.
Yeah, I totally agree with you on that. It's quite weird that when a player has a layoff for so long that sometimes they opt not to come here and have that lead-up tournament just to blow the cobwebs out, in Alcaraz and, Medvedev. So I don't know. It's a bit weird for me. So they'll be a bit rusty, I think, those first games.
100%.
And thanks for having my back there, Muzz. I did forget to mention Alcaraz as well, no lead-up event. I mean, he had a little hit and giggle charity match the other night, but can't really look too much into that. But I'm always a big believer. One lead-up, especially for the top 15, top 20 in the world, is what's required this time of the year leading into the Australian Open. But I could be wrong. Who knows?
Yeah.
Novak and Rafa and Federer win them before with no lead up as well.
That's it.
they're the pros, and I guess they're the big three that win 70 Grand Slams between them. But if you want, I'm going to just run through the draw, just the quarterlies of the men's and the women's draws. If you want, we'll go run through.
Let's be gentlemen. Let's start with the ladies first. How about that?
I like it. I like it a lot. So we'll run to the women, because that's what we do. We run to the women. So we've got the first quarter. We've got Swiatek, world number 1. I mean, she hasn't won one here, hasn't she?
No.
It's
very. Where did she go out in the semis last year?
I think maybe 3rd or 4th round, maybe.
Fourth or quarters. I'm just trying to remember off the top of my head. I reckon something's telling me Yelena Ostapenko knocked her out last year in the 4th of the quarters.
I'm just going to run through it. Go through the draw. I'm just going to see when she did get knocked out.
Yeah. So, Dean, if you want to kickstart proceedings in the first quarter of the women's singles, obviously, Ega's opponent's a former Australian Open champion as well.
I think looking at in this draw here, I think the world number 1 should easily get through. She's in great. I think she's in great form. In the United Cup, I don't think she lost a set. In the WTA finals, she just having a look now. She beat Pegula 6-1, 6-love, Sabalenka 6-3, 6-2, Coco Gauff 6-0, 7-5, and that was just a few months ago. She hasn't won it, the Oz Open before, but I think it's her time now to win it, and I really can't see anyone stopping her, especially in this side of the draw. And I think she'll win it. She'll win it comfortably.
I think.
Well, Dean, from our point of view, I'm very happy Maria Sakkari's been drawn in the opposite side of the draw. Don't want her facing Iga in a fourth round or a quarter final that early on. So, she's my red hot favourite as well. Like you mentioned, the WTA finals and the way she just obliterated her opponents in the United Cup without, forget about sets, dropping sets. She was hardly dropping any games.
That's right.
So she wasn't conceding too many points. The only concern I do have for Iga here down under, if Melbourne's weather turns up a 35-degree real hot stinking day and she's day session on Rod Laver Arena, that could perhaps create a few problems for Iga Swiatek. Not saying she's soft, any stretch of the imagination, but I don't think she copes too well with the extreme heat. And that could be maybe a factor that just on the day, if she gets someone that's just, mentally a little bit there and more prepared and more used to those types of conditions, it could be a big banana skin for her in the third, fourth or quarterfinal round.
We saw Tomljanovic on that side of the draw as well. I'll just run it back. Sorry about that. She's got Bartic, and then she's got a potential second round with Ostapenko if she can get through the first round. What do we think about Tomljanovic's chances? Or to go deep, third round, maybe? I don't know.
Yeah, maybe a third round. She's coming back from injury, I think. It's tough to say. Did she play any lead-up tournaments? No, she played the United Cup. Sorry,
United Cup. Yep, correct.
Yeah, Harry, did you end up watching her a little bit at all when you were there?
Bits and pieces. For me, look, we know what Ayla's capable of. She's made quarterfinals before in slams, deep runs at Wimbledon, etc. She normally doesn't do too well at the Oz Open. And we saw in that section of the draw, she's wedged in between Azarenka and Ostapenko, two fantastic competitors. And I think the draw has not been kind to her. She's probably copped the worst seeds possible between the 9 to 16 bracket and the 17 to 24 bracket that she's been wedged in between. Was maybe hoping for a softer draw. But for me, yes, she had a layoff last year. She's come back. She looks healthy. That's the most important thing. Her rankings obviously slipped. Let's hope in 2024 it goes back up into the top 50, top 40, and then she can build hopefully to start getting seeds back again, seeding positions rather in the Grand Slams. For me, though, I've got to call a spade a spade. My biggest disappointment with her was Australia-Germany losing to Angelique Kerber. Now, yes, Kerber is a former Grand Slam champion. She's won Wimbledon, multiple slams, former world number one in the world. She's probably, and this is no disrespect to Angelique Kerber, but she has also had, given birth as well, had a child. She's coming back. She's outside 600 in the world. But in fairness, and I don't want this to come across as harsh, she's probably about 1/20th of the player she once was. Ayla should be winning those matches. And it's no disrespect to Angelique. She's obviously much older now. Ayla's much younger. It should not have been a match that was dropped. And, that's just my opinion. But obviously in that section of the draw as well, talking about, look, we always go on about, the Novaks, the Rafas, the Federers, the Murrays, they're warriors and stuff like that. But I looked at that draw. We touched base on Victoria Azarenka, another one that's given birth, come back, 18th seed in the Australian Open. I mean, phenomenal. Like to give birth,
massive,
to then get your body right again,
get
your body right, in shape, play all these tournaments, have the mentality to then, climb up the rankings, start entering the big tournaments again. It speaks leaps and bounds about their mentality. And the other one there, of course, is Elina Svitolina. Obviously, I think she got married, but let's just call her the partner of Gail Monfils. Gave birth. She was, I think, world number 3 in the world from Ukraine. She's back into number 19 seed for the tournament. So, credit where credit's due. I mean, I know they're not Swiatek or Sabalenka or Pegula or the usual Coco Gauff.
Coco Gauff,
my hat goes off to those three players in particular.
It's a testament to their professionalism, I guess, and their elite mentality.
100%.
You've got to have that to get to the highest. So we'll go to the second part of the draw. We've got Maria Sakkari for the Greeks. I mean, Harry, watch her far out. She's come on leaps and bounds, I'll tell you that. You've got Mertens, Lynette, Haddad Maya, who she's a handy little player.
It's not bad.
The Brazilian.
The big match up there is, I think, Garcia against Osaka in the former world number one and the champion of Australian Open. And then we've got, Potapova and then Fernandez and Coco Gauff down there. Potentially set up a match with maybe Osaka or Garcia in the quarterfinals or the round of 16. What do we reckon, lads?
Again, Coco Gauff won the US Open. I think she's only 19. Right? She's been on the tour for about 4 years now, I think. And she's had a lot of pressure on herself coming to the tour at a young age, and actually finally won a Grand Slam. So again, I think she'll go deep, at least quarter semis. She got Osaka on the draw. With Osaka, you don't know what you'll get. I think she got the game to win multiple Grand Slams, but it's her first big tournament back. Who knows how she'll go? I think she lost. She played in where did she play? She played in Brisbane. Played in Brisbane. I think she won the first round. So it's interesting to see how she goes in Oz Open. What do you guys think?
Harry?
Look, I'm under the impression this is probably a little bit more trickier than that first quarter of the draw that we saw. I mean, look at the seeds. Obviously, starting off with Maria Sakkari, top 10 player, 8th seed, obviously, for the Australian Open. Elise Mertens, with the 25th seed, can obviously hit a decent ball. She's made big runs into Grand Slams, gone into week 2 on numerous occasions. Magda Lynette, she had a fantastic Australian Open last year. Loves it here down under. Like you mentioned as well, Mars, Beatriz Haddad Maya from Brazil. She's come up leaps and bounds. As well, Caroline Garcia, tricky customer in the office. Obviously, the French woman there. And, you got your young guns in Coco Gauff and Leylah Fernandez. I think the 32 seed for Leylah Fernandez, it doesn't do her any justice. I believe she's quite easily a top 20 player. So that's going to be a tricky third-round match for Coco Gauff. And, again, this is the question now for Coco Gauff's career. At such a young age, not just necessarily the women like Sophia Kenin who have won a Grand Slam, but just athletes in the world of tennis that have gotten pretty famous, pretty young, made their money, got their slam, or they've gone into quarterfinals, maybe won an ATP or a WTA 500 or a Masters. How do they compose themselves from thereafter? Is it just like, you know what?
I've done
what I've had to do. I'm done. I'm just going to enter whatever tournament I want, pick up my prize money, train, hit a few balls and call it a day? Or are they going to really take it that next level? And from the men's side of we've seen the likes of Bernard Tomic. He really came onto the scene as a young age. Unfortunately flopped. Thereafter, after he made a big name for himself and was winning heaps of rounds at Grand Slam level at a young age. And we saw Sophia Kenin. She won the Australian Open a couple of years back and hasn't been able to cope or deal mentally with that status. So it's going to be really interesting to see with Coco Gauff. I think she's an amazing tennis player, big game player. She's so young. The world is at her feet. I don't think she's going to disappoint her fans or the United States of America. She's going to be flying that flag very proud for the next 10 plus years, and she'll be winning multiple Grand Slams.
I agree. I think she's got the mental know-how as well.
I think what's important is to have a good team. To have a good team around you. I think
Correct.
she's part of the MOURATOGLOU academy. I think. Is he the coach at the? No, well, he was.
Not
Harry?
at the moment, but she does.
No.
She does spend quite a few weeks there of the year, which is quite strange for an American. There's lots of academies in America all throughout. So, but yeah, I mean, she was a former French Open Junior champion. Patrick identified her at a very young age. I think she won the French Open Juniors at the age of 14, and that's where she started becoming big for herself. Like you said, Dean came onto the scene probably about 4 years ago, but I think if you're like deep into the tennis world, I remember I was at the US Open in 2018. This is when she would have been about 16 or 17. She's coming off the practice court, and everyone was screaming her name, begging for a photo and signature. So, very interesting times ahead for her.
That's when you know you've made it, I guess. Well, you're up and coming and starting to make it.
Absolutely. Off to the next section of the women's, Mars.
Yeah, we'll go off to the next section. What was that? Sorry, actually. I think it had the third quarter. That was the third quarter, sorry. This is the second quarter now. That's fine. That's fine. Well, we've got seed number 3 or world number 3, Rabakina. I think she's a very good player. Paulini, Kalanina, Kasatinka. Is it Kasatkina? Kasatkina.
Daria Kasatkina, yes. Russia.
Zhang, Kristea, Zhu, and then Pegula, who is a very, very, very good player. Thoughts on that, guys?
I think probably the quarter final will probably be Rabakina and Pegula, the 3rd and 5th seeds. Rabakina won the Brisbane International, beat Sabalenka quite comfortably in straight sets. But I found it a bit weird how she went from Brisbane to Adelaide, and then I think she lost. I don't know what round she lost in Adelaide, but I didn't see the point of her doing that, because I know you still have to play. You should play a tournament before the Oz Open, but maybe not two tournaments back to back.
Yeah.
Because I remember. I don't know if it was a few years ago. Like Kokonakis did something similar. He played the 2 Adelaide international tournaments, and he only played the first round. And I remember watching him play, and he just didn't look leggy. Yeah, it didn't look 100%.
I remember that. Adelaide International 1, he made the semis. Great, because this is when he was coming back. Then week 2, Adelaide International 2, wins it. So that's in a fortnight. And they had to cut Adelaide short because of the travel day to Melbourne.
That's right.
In the space of 13 days, he's played, off the top of my head, 5 in the week 2, 4, semi. He's played 9 games in 13 days.
Games,
9 matches. 9 matches.
It's too many.
That's a lot of tennis. And I remember who his opponent was. He was on show court 3 against Yannick Hanfmann from Germany.
Yeah, that's right.
I remember that. He did complain that the conditions were very different. Melbourne was very, very slow in comparison to Adelaide, but 100% an element of fatigue had to be considered with the amount of tennis he did play.
Yeah, I agree. It's just, I think it's too much tennis, and maybe for Rabakina, I think she lost to Alexandrova in the quarterfinals, 6-3, 6-3. So yeah, maybe it was just I don't know, not blow the cobwebs out, but get the miles into the legs. But I think she's good enough. She doesn't have to play 2 tournaments.
Yeah, 100%.
Look, and let's not forget, she's last year's finalist. She took the first set against Sabalenka. She was a set away of winning it. So, to be fair, in this section of the draw, apart from perhaps Kasatkina, because if she's exchanging real big blows and hitting the ball well, she can knock out anybody on her day. And perhaps Pegula, another one similar to Kasatkina, huge hitter of the ball. If it's her day, she's capable of beating anybody, including Iga and Sabalenka. She doesn't have too much to worry about. So I think she'll nurse through the earlier rounds very, very easily, and she'll spend minimum time on the courts, which is what you want week 1 of the Slam. But she will have a trickier week 2 of the Slam to then progress and make, your quarters, semis, and finals.
Definitely. We'll go to anything else you want to add?
No.
Zana? No, nothing.
All good.
All good.
All
right. I'll add to quarter 4, the 4th quarter. We've got Yon Jabeur, Wang. Just looking at through. I mean, you got Samsonova against Asimonova, Vekic, and then you got Sabalenka, who gets pretty favourable draw, I think.
Yeah.
Your
No,
thoughts?
it's not think. It's we know.
It is.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Look,
I mean, she gets to a semis quite easily there,
easy.
I think.
Yeah, she's got a big. Sabalenka's got a big game. She's very strong. Just,
Serve,
I think, just her serving can be a bit off, but I think that's such she got a little bit better. I remember she used to do a lot of double faults, but watching her play this year in Brisbane, like she looked pretty good. But I think she'll go straight to the final or at least semi. Did you say Amanda and Samova's on her side?
Yeah, she's the third. Yeah.
She's coming back. I think she just took some
Samsonova.
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 Not Amenasova. She's from America. Who are you thinking of?
Yeah. I'm talking about Anna Samova. Yeah.
I think they're versing each other.
Sorry, I confused them. So here's different touch twisted beam. Samsonova is playing Anna Samova in the first round.
Yes,
that's right.
I'm talking about the American. So I think her, like, she's coming back. I think she took some time off last year with tennis, and now she's back. I think she's a great player. I think she can eventually win a Grand Slam. She's got the game. She came on the tour very early, and maybe they got to her, and hopefully she starts doing well again, and I can see her at least being top 10 player. What do you think on that, Harry?
A lot of work still to do because she's obviously not been. She doesn't have her seed currently, and then obviously there's expectation and. But the good thing is, like, as the year goes on and she enters more and more tournaments, she won't be defending any points from the year before because she played little tennis in the 2023. So she needs favourable draws, as in avoid seeds early on, win a round or two, bank those points, those prize money, get back used to, the travel cycle and how brutal the tour is. And I don't know about top 10, top 20, top 15, yes. But the top 10 right now in women's tennis, I think it's going to stay like that for a very long time. Maybe one or two adjustments, but I think it's a phenomenal bracket right now. From Haddad Maya, who's 10, to Swiatek at 1. I mean, think about who else is in between there, Dean, as well. You're talking Sabalenka 2, Pegula 5, Coco Gauff 4. You're talking Maria Sakkari at 8. Ridiculous
talent. Very good talent.
It is.
Hard for any female up and coming now to break that and crack into that top 10. So, but just on that draw, I know Mars, you mentioned. I think you went the early crow here. I do believe Sabalenka will make a semi, right?
I personally think so.
But capital but. But with a capital B. Don't forget. If the draw goes as we agree, as like if the seeds keep on winning, rather. In the quarters, and again, someone who I also forgot to mention in the top 10, Ons Jabeur. She goes always
she's good.
Deep in Grand Slams, so that's going to be a tricky opponent for Sabalenka, who has struggled in the past before to Ons Jabeur. Yes, this is a really interesting. Apart from Ons and Sabalenka, can't see too many more upsets happening. Of course, there's Barbara Krejcikova, the former French Open champion of 2020 or 21 off the top of my head. She's there, but she's not in the form of what she was when she won the French Open. But big serve on her, can hit a ball on any given day. You just don't know what she's got in stock as well.
Agreed. Well, getting onto those, seeing as we finished the women's side, winner. Well, we'll go dark horse first. Who's your dark horse, lads? And you know what? I'll jot these down as well.
Yep. A dark horse to like, what are you talking? A dark horse to win it? A smoky to go to a fourth round of a name that we've never heard before? Or what are we talking here, Mars?
We'll go to win it. I mean, it's tough, but
dark horse to win it.
Ooh. Very, very good question.
It's a tough one.
It's such a tough one. It's
You can
such
include
a
the
tough
top
one.
10 as well.
Look,
If the Nevada
yeah,
Slam.
I can't like see anyone else winning there except obviously world number one. You
Top
got
three,
Marikina, Goff, and Sabalenka. I think it's either them.
I'll
It's
give
either
you one.
those.
I'll give
Either those
you one.
players.
And you're gonna like this, lads. But I reckon Sakari, she could go. She could test them.
I hope you're right. I hope your prediction's
Hopefully.
right. I don't want to say
She's
it.
got
I
the
don't look like
game.
I'm biased.
Nah, she's got the game. And I've watched a
She
bit
played
of it.
really well at the United Cup as well. I must admit,
she's in form.
She did drop off a bit late in the middle part of 23, the 23 season.
Yeah.
Had an okay Australian Open. Third rounds. I think she means business. If she plays like she did in the United Cup, I can see her eyes closed, making a quarter. I'm not saying she's going to win it, but she will make a quarter.
She can go deep. I'm going to put
at least a quarter.
For me.
Well, in the quarter she meets Coco Gauff, so that's going to be a flip of the coin. Hopefully, the local Greek support here plays a part if they meet in the quarters and gets over the line.
I'm sure the Howlers fan club will be out and chanting
behind all the Greeks.
Maria Sakari, Sakari, Maria Sakari. So you're going to go Sakari as well? Are we all doing Sakari, the trio?
Yeah, I think so.
Why not? Let's have Sakari down as
that's my heart. They say go with your head, not your heart, but the heart. Let's go, Maria.
As an Italian, I'm going with my head, and I reckon Sakari, she can go deep.
I hope you're right, Mars. I hope you're right.
We'll go to the winner, the eventual winner, or who we think will win. Who do you reckon? Dean, we'll go with you.
I think the Swiatek will win. They were number one. She's in form, been in form the last few months, and I think she has the best forehands on the tour.
Yeah,
and she hasn't proved herself yet at the Oz Open, but I think she will this one.
Harry,
I'm going Sabalenka back to back.
Yeah,
I'm going Sabalenka back to back. And just quickly, a potential second round matchup for Sabalenka. Brenda Fruhirtova from the Czech Republic. She made her way through qualifying. 16 years old. That's a name to keep your eye out for the future, no doubt.
We know you like identifying talent early there, Harry. So yeah, you're one of the best at doing that.
Yeah.
You're one of the best at doing that. I'll tell you that for free. And you took the words right out of my mouth, mate. Sabalenka. She's got that big serve, For a woman to have a big serve, you already got the first starting point down pat.
100%.
She gets a lot of free points on that ace as well, or that serve. She's got a big forehand, big game, strong, powerful, and so I think Sabalenka. I mean, well, it could be Sabalenka Swiatek, so I guess that's what.
They're on opposite sides of the draw.
Yeah.
That's why when you're 1 and 2, you're on opposite sides of the draw, and you won't meet until the final. E.g., Djokovic and Alcaraz, which we'll sort of touch base on very shortly.
Yeah.
Well, beautiful. Thank you for leading me into that path there, Harry. And we go to the men's side of the draw. And I guess this is what we're here for as well. We go to quarter one. Oh, that's the fourth quarter, Mars. Get it right. It's quarter one. We start off with the Grand Slam record holder and Novak Djokovic. We've got a few big games here. I'll tell you that. We've got Andy Murray against Echeverry. I saw him at Roland Garros. When he beat Demonor, it was actually a good game. Manarino against Wawrinka. You've got Bautista good against Ben Shelton, who's come along.
Good player. I like him.
He can definitely play. You got Fritz. You've got the elder statesman in Marin Cilic against Madosan, and then you've got Musetti, James Duckworth for the Aussies, Jordan Thompson, and then you've got I think the best match of round one in Berrettini versus Tsitsipas. Where would you like to?
Interesting quarter for so many reasons. I'm glad you mentioned, but before we start on obviously the obvious ones in Novak and Fritz and Shelton, Tsitsipas, etc. Mars, you mentioned a name, Thomas Martin Echeverry. Glad you saw him play on the clay. Obviously, being Argentinian, they're born, raised, and tennis religions on the dirt. Yeah. So, but he's an all-round type player. He definitely deserves his spot as 30th seed. Not too sure how he fares on the grass, but lucky for him, it's only the shortest surface window on the tour. The grass only goes for about 3 or 4 weeks. But that's going to be, look, Djokovic will get through that one in the third round. I think he'll take Murray. It's not going to be easy. That could be a 5-hour, 5-set match. They're going to be playing some bruising, taxing tennis. But for Novak, if Echeverry gets to the third round, they'll meet. And I reckon it will be a straight that's Novak win.
Yeah, okay.
Nah, I think it will be. But that could be like a 3.5 hour match. Like I'm talking tiebreakers or, 7-5 sets or long 6-4 sets. So
he can play.
He can play. And he's one I thought reaped the rewards of a real successful 2023 ATP season. So best of luck to Echeverry, and I hope, you know what, especially when Stefanos is in that section of the draw, who knows? Hopefully, if Novak's got a bit of a dodgy wrist, you just never know on the day. But look, we'll touch base on Novak shortly. I've got it. I love him. Don't forget, I'm one of his biggest fans. But we'll touch on wrist injuries and hamstring tears and all that very shortly. But obviously, you're right.
Big games in there.
The main match for round one. It's Stefanos versus Matteo Berrettini. Berrettini, former top 10. Unfortunately, was unhealthy all of last year. Had a poor Australian Open last year. Lost in the first round to Andy Murray in 5 sets. Went to a tiebreaker. Poor draw. He's copped another poor draw again against the Stefanos Tsitsipas, who was nursed and put through Cotamul during the United Cup. Obviously, had some injuries from Turin in the ATP finals last year when he withdrew and pulled out to Holger Rune really early in his second match there.
And that's unlike Tsitsipas as well to pull out.
Correct. He's not one to chuck the towel in very. I mean, the scoreline was like 2-1, so it's not like he's going to.
It's a fight.
There must have been something wrong. It's not like he was 5-1 down opening set in 20 minutes. He was still on serve and just unfortunately chucked the towel in there. Pain must have been excruciating. I'm hoping his back is right and good to go, but I think his physio and his team, it's sort of a race against time to get him cherry ripe. And the scary thing is, we know what Matteo has got up his sleeve. Big serve, big forehand, complete player. You don't make a top 10 in the world by being a one-hit wonder or a fluke overnight.
Maybe within final, I think, as well. Berrettini.
Yeah. Correct. Yeah. Lost to Djokovic in 4. I remember that final.
Same.
Look, it's a bad draw for both of them. Matteo needs to bank points early on in his season to get his ranking back up. And the scary thing is for Stefanos, apart from the sort of maybe potential back issue, is it's now the unknown of Matteo. Is Matteo coming in, miles off it? Or is Matteo coming in like with a full 4 or 5 month pre-season behind him, conditioning, lots of practice sets and matches in him where he's just going to breathe fire and just blast him off the park with his forehand. So that's definitely the game. Everybody's talking about that game. The whole Oz Open, they were tweeting about it, along with, I think, a few other matches. But this is definitely the match of the round one.
Well, 100%.
I've got a question for you, Harry, and I don't know if you want to answer it or whatever. But Stefanos Tsitsipas, so going from his dad to Philippoussis and then back to his dad. What do you think of that? Because, obviously maybe something's going on there. I'm not speculating anything, or it just didn't seem the right fit.
Yeah.
It's just, I think it's a little bit weird, but maybe not weird for Stefanos. I don't know. What's your thoughts? Just a general take.
I think this is not any inside information or anything. I don't really know what occurred or what happened there, but my take on it is maybe Stefanos wanted to try something new, just to see how that would fare. Unfortunately, got knocked out in the second round of the US Open last year to Stricker whilst Mark Philippoussis was coaching him. let's not also forget, though, Philippoussis did coach him and he won the ATP 250 Los Cabos in Mexico in the lead up to the US Open as well. So it wasn't an overall failure.
Probably wasn't the right fit, maybe,
Yeah, for me, seeing, you know, a young, scrawny 15-year-old kid come here as a junior player to see where he's ended up and to see the immense work that Apostolos does on and off the tennis court with Stefanos, they're yin and yang. And, you know, love always hurts, they say, you know. So, of course, there's always going to be times when Stefanos is in the thick of battle and he forgets it's his father. He just looks at him, it's my coach. Or he forgets that it's his coach and it's his father and, you know, might spit the dummy out at him if he's given him the wrong tactic that hasn't paid off or paid big for him. But there's no doubt in my mind, I think Apostolos is definitely the right man for Stefanos. And like I said, they're yin and yang.
Yeah, I agree. Well, we go on to the world number one. How could you forget his name? Novak Djokovic.
Novak.
I mean,
where
do you start with this, Spike? Seriously?
Look, he's won it. He's won it, I think, 10 times. The US Open.
10 times, correct. Yeah.
10 times. Look, I think he's the greatest of all time, in my opinion. My favourite's Nadal, but I think Djokovic is the greatest. Just how he's on the court, like mentally, it's just you can't beat it.
He makes you play that extra shot every single time.
It's unbelievable, you know. And
the Serbian wall.
Like I know he's getting older. Obviously, everyone gets older. He'll be 30, 37 this year, but he's still going well. Like as long as he doesn't get injuries, you know, that's the only thing that can affect him. His side of the draw, he should, well, you know, make the quarters easy. But he might meet Ben Shelton in the 4th round.
Yeah, that's going to be tricky.
Actually,
the big lefty.
Tricky. Yeah, I think he's a great player. I think he's got probably one of the best serves
as well.
I think.
Yeah.
So,
then he didn't Djokovic go that back to
Yeah, he did.
Correct.
I'd love to see it. I'd love to see that in the 4th round. I'll definitely go.
Yeah,
there'd be some fireworks there again.
Oh yeah. I think at the moment, I think he's got the best serve in the game, Ben Shelton. Like his first serve, other than Kyrgios, he's not playing at the moment. It's unbelievable. Like the power that he gets, like 220 for a lefty as well. It's just, and big forehand. His backhand's okay. I think he needs a bit of work, but can definitely trouble Djokovic. But I think Djokovic will obviously get through.
Yeah, I mean,
absolutely.
Second round against Popperin and Poldman, then
you,
pretty light.
Yeah,
I think
great
man.
Novak will have like I said, 3rd round's going to be tricky for him in terms of the time spent on court. He'll get himself through it, obviously, unscathed. But from the 4th round onwards, he's looking at potentially Ben Shelton 4th round, and then either Tsitsipas, if all goes well for him, in the quarters. Yeah, or Fritz maybe perhaps. Yeah. So it's a very tricky section as well after for Novak in the 4th round.
Fritz did trouble him in the COVID year when they had to kick all the crowd out. Do you remember that game? I think he played a 5-setter.
Yeah,
he did trouble him.
Correct.
Yeah. So it will be interesting to see. I think Fritz has a good game.
Yeah, I totally agree.
I think Djokovic will be too strong.
Yeah, and just on injuries as well, boys. You know, we obviously saw Kyrgios' tweet about, you know, the ball's changing every single week and the wrist giving in. I think Dimitar beat Novak fair and square. Maybe on the day, Djokovic was 20% off or something like that. So not trying to make excuses for Novak or something like that, but I mean, again, once Stefanos or Nick Kyrgios and Thanasi Kokkinakis go out of the draw, I'm all Novak. I'm all Novak, right?
Same.
I love him. I love him more than.
Dean's disconnected. That's right. Keep going. That's fine.
I love obviously Novak, and like I said, once Stefanos, Nick, Thanasi go out of a draw, I'm all Novak, and I've always loved him more than Federer and Nadal, and the general public don't seem to. But one thing, if there's one thing that I can critique Novak on is I feel sometimes he does play possum, and what I mean by that is last year, 2023 Australian Open, I've got a 3 centimetre hamstring tear. Mars, respectfully, if you are Rafael Nadal, Federer, and Djokovic, chuck even Murray in, combined all in one, and you've got a 3 centimetre hamstring tear, you're losing to world number 500. You're not beating 100%. Them. I'm telling you now, it's So I can't. It's unconvincing how bad his wrist is right now. Time will tell, but
we'll see in the first game.
The Joker, Melbourne Park, he's got a final written all over him, in my opinion.
Can he make? It number 11?
No doubt in my mind. I mean, I think it's going down to him and Carlitos. So it's a flip of the coin between them two. But another thing that caught my eye. Again, I don't want to be controversial with what happened with him a couple of years back, but let's call a spade again. We didn't treat him too well with the whole vaccine situation and whatnot.
Yeah.
Look at what he's doing in the lead up to the Australian Open, raising money for charity. What a human being he is.
Always.
Having a laugh. And I just don't seem to get why people think he's arrogant or not like Federer and Nadal. And I actually love, I don't mind Nadal. I wasn't the biggest fan of Federer, to be honest. But look, one thing I didn't like about Nadal, as Dean joins us back here, one thing I didn't like about Nadal. No, that's okay. One thing I didn't like about Nadal, Mars, and Dean was, in 2021 I was open when he got deported. Nadal commented, well, there were certain rules. He chose not to follow those rules, so he has to deal with the consequences now. Now, we know Rafa's obviously unfortunately pulled out with that injury at the Brisbane International after his match with Jordan Thompson, which is a big letdown for the Australian Open, of course, and Rafa's fans. But just to show you the calibre of bloke that Djokovic is, Nadal had a long layover from last year. His last match was the Australian Open, second round, 2023. And Novak tweeted back to Nadal, welcome back. So, I mean, in terms of personalities, championship, mindset, in my opinion, Novak's my GOAT. And I think he's actually a real humble human being compared to the other big,
sorry to cut you off, but I just don't get the notion of him being arrogant. He does this and he does that. I look at him and I go, when you're young, you come out, you're good. You come out, you want to be seen. You want to be seen on the court, right? Federer was the same. Correct. He used to spit the dummy. Yeah. Even Nadal used to spit the dummy, you know what I mean? And with age, you mature. And, as he's gotten better, he's just always had that tag. He's always carried that. With Australia, I think the most.
Yeah. I also think.
I don't know if you see that, but that's how I see it.
I also think that, Nadal and Federer have like a close relationship compared to with Djokovic. And
Dean. Yep, there we go again. Oh, wait up. Yeah, go, Zana. He's on mute. I think you're on mute, bro. Go out and come back in. But I do agree with Zana that the Nadal and Federer rivalry, I don't know, how can you say, it transcended the tennis world, and people gravitated towards them too. And then when you saw Djokovic up and coming and starting to take those Grand Slams,
swept them,
and people didn't like that. It's like he's the villain of the sport.
No, you don't like it. Okay, if you don't like it because you're a Federer or Nadal fan, you need to at least respect it. And
correct.
The facts and the stats, apart from obviously the French Open, because we know Nadal's the king of the clay, everywhere else statistically and overall, Novak's
got every record
stack up, and he is the GOAT. Yeah, he is the GOAT.
He's won the thousands twice over. Like no one's ever done that. He's got.
There's only one thing Novak doesn't have though. Do you know what
the
that
gold
is,
medal.
Mark? Let's see.
The gold medal.
Correct. Bravo.
Yeah.
But,
Does he play? Do you reckon he plays?
100%.
Yeah.
He's going to go one more time to try get it. Yeah, 100%.
When's the last time he played in the Olympics?
I remember Rio lost to Del Potro, and then it was the 2021. He lost early. He lost early in the Olympics to someone. I can't remember who. Yeah, and he lost in the first round to Del Potro in the 26 Rio Olympic Games, and you saw him actually walk off court crying. Like, never ever seen
he wants
that.
it.
So it means a lot. It'll mean he wants it. I think he will as well.
And it's going to be on the clay as well. So we're just talking about
Carlos to negotiate.
We're just talking about Djokovic and all the records he holds, but there's one thing he doesn't hold: the gold medal.
Oh, the Olympics. Yeah, he hasn't got it. You know, Murray's got two gold medal singles. He's the only one that has that record.
Yeah,
Andy Murray.
London 20 on it. I remember they played it on the courts of Wimbledon.
That's right. Yeah. I think he beat Federer. Yeah.
I think it was like 3 weeks after Wimbledon. They were back on the grass courts again playing for the Olympics. It was like crazy.
Yeah, crazy.
2 Wimbledon.
Where does that happen? Only in tennis, because it's 52 weeks of the year. All right, so we'll get on to the second side of the second quarter. We've got Yannick Sinner, my man.
Italian.
Galan against Kubler against the Aussie. He got the wild card entry, which is interesting. Baez, TFO against Coric. That's going to be a cracking match. Ultima against Hachanov. Diminor against Raonic. Wow, what a potential banana skin that is for Diminor. And you got Nicholas Ciari, Korda. And then you've got Rublev against Sabov Wild. Sebov Wild, sorry. Where do you start with that? Diminor and Raonic?
Now, I'll start off quickly by mentioning Andrei Rublev, right? Now, world number 5, 5th seed.
He's crept up.
Started the season, he has.
Crept up.
Phenomenal 23 season. So consistent. You'll always see his name in a draw deep. Always a quarter, always a semi, champion, finalist. Like, there's no early round bomb outs for him. And you know what? He's reaped the rewards of being a consistent player, which is fantastic. And he's hit the ground running already in season 24. He was the ATP 250 champion in Hong Kong. So slightly weaker field there. Being a 250 and not being an Australian tournament, but you got to beat who's in front of you. He's done that. He's come into Melbourne Park, had the week off this week. Probably be ripping those forehands like he normally does. And
you've seen those videos of him?
I think he's got a. I was going to say I think he's got a kind draw. Let's not forget Korda made the quarters last year here, so he's expected to face him in the third round.
And I think he's in the Adelaide Open final as well. He is in the Adelaide Open final today.
Who's that?
I'm not too sure. Korda.
Yeah.
So again, actually, he got eliminated by Lehechka.
Yuri Lehechka, yeah.
Oh yeah, he's a good player.
So he got to a semis, But he can
absolutely.
Play too.
I think with Rublev, I think he's a great player, but I feel like when he plays at the top 5 players in the Grand Slam, I feel like he struggles a little bit.
He does.
Like he doesn't. For me, he doesn't change anything. He just keeps hitting the long rallies. Like I think when you're versing the top player like Djokovic, all those players, you have to change it up and maybe come to the net a little bit more. Do some volleys, do something different, because what he's doing now, he's not beating them at the Grand Slam level. He might beat them at a ATP 250 or 500 level, but not at the Grand Slam. And everyone watches the Grand Slam. That's where you're made. But I think he might, if it goes to plan, he'll probably meet Diminor in the 4th round. And again, we'll talk about that now with Diminor. He's got a big first round game against Raonic. It's going to be a big game.
You know what you're going to get out of Alex Diminor. You know what you're going to get. You're going to get 120%. You're going to get the Aussie crowd behind him. the question is, what Milos Raonic are we getting? Are we getting an unfit one that's just come here for a holiday? Or are we going to get one here that the Milos Raonic who worked his backside off in the off-season, he's fit and firing again, and just going to be painting lines with his serve? So we just don't know, because if he's painting lines with his serve, it's going to make it very, very, very tricky for Dimona to obviously break serve. And when things go into a tiebreaker, I don't care about crowd support or anything like that. It's literally it's a flip of the coin.
Yeah, I agree.
I think with Dimona, I'm a bit surprised how much he's improved. He's like every part of his game's improved. His neck game as well. He's very confident at the net, and he's been very aggressive, and he's been hitting the ball very early. That I've noticed, and he's probably got the best movement on court.
He's best mover.
He is. You know who he reminds me of? Ferrer.
Yeah, just move everywhere.
Just side to side, hard to get past.
He's I reckon he's quicker than Ferrer. I actually reckon he's quicker than Ferrer. Side to side movement, he's quicker than Ferrer.
I agree.
Yeah. Ferrer was more of a grinder as well, like long, slow rallies. Dimona, he's got weapons up his sleeve. He can pull the backhand winner up the line, cross-court forehand winners. He's got a bit more arsenal than Ferrer.
And this is what has impressed me since. Sorry, Dean, to cut you off. Well, I watched him at Roland Garros against Echeverri, and I'm just thinking, I think you're a better player than I know Echeverri. You know, he plays on the dirt and that, and it was disappointing that match. He was he got, I think it was straight sets, or was it in 3-1, three sets to 1? And I'm just thinking, I think you're a better player than that. You're just disappointing. But the way he's come back, I mean, he's beaten 4 top 10 players. He's beaten Fritz, Djokovic, Zverev, and he's beaten Alcaraz as well. So
he's in
the top 10 officially for the first time.
Correct.
Yeah. So long time since an Aussie's done that.
That's right.
I'm just trying to think. Kiggs, unfortunately, just missed out. I think his career high was 12. Nasty hasn't done it. Oh, no. No, 17. 17 in the
So it's been a long time.
There you go. Well, let's answer this in our next episode. We've got some research and homework to do, boys. Who the last top 10 Australian male was?
We do.
If it's Leighton Hewitt, this country's had issues for a long time.
I think it has to be.
Actually could be. I'm not going to lie, gents. I think it might have been Leighton Hewitt.
Yeah, I see Hewitt.
So, but yeah, look, for me, just you know how I like to think sometimes outside of the square. So last year the United Cup was the first edition. This year's the second edition. Stefanos Tsitsipas didn't lose a game, but Greece didn't win the tournament. It's just funny because when you don't lose a match in your tournament, you're the champion traditionally in tennis. Well, that doesn't seem to happen here. Same thing now for Alex Dimona in 2024, edition 2 of the United Cup. Didn't lose any of his singles matches, but unfortunately couldn't be crowned champion because Australia got knocked out to Germany in the mixed doubles. But that match against Zverev was absolutely wild. So actually, there you go. There's a bit of form insight for you. Zverev was dropping 200 consistently, boys. And, you know, again, he matched what he did against Stefanos in the quarterfinals by dropping 80% plus first serve in. And then I think it was the high 70s in the second and third set, which is phenomenal. I mean, if you're over 60, 65% first serve, it's going to make... It's going to take something special for you to lose that set in men's tennis at the ATP level. So, if he's returning that well and beating Zverev when he's serving that well, you got to say maybe a good lead-up match for him against Raonic. But Raonic is probably 20-30 clicks quicker on the serve just based on his height. So let's wait and see. I'm sure Dimona might be asking for an Ivo Karlovic or a John Isner to come down to be a hitting partner. And I reckon he might spend about an hour just receiving on the practice courts.
Yeah, I think that first round game with I think if it goes past 3 or 4 shots in the rally, I think Demon will be winning that comfortably. He could drop a set, but I think he wins it. He'll be fine.
I agree. And the form that he's in. Yeah, he's
And
the main hope of the Australians in the men's.
But
I mean,
the only thing is
you've
now,
got Kubler on that side, I think, too.
yeah,
On the other side,
Yeah.
So the only thing is now, Demonor, he's got more pressure on him now. Top 10,
100%.
beating all these top players, he's got pressure. Last few Oz Opens hasn't had the pressure, but now he's got lots of pressure on him.
What is he? I
Everyone's
think he's,
watching.
He's 24 years old now.
Yeah, he's
24.
yeah.
We forget to quick that he's still like now he's coming into his I'd say his prime years.
Prime years, yeah, correct.
We put a lot of pressure on these young kids from Australia when they pop, and you see him as a 19-year-old, the 20-year-old, and the world's their oyster, and we're just heaping this expectation. Kyrgios, Kokkinakis, and now you got Popperin, you got Kubler. Now you've got Alex Dimonor. So we'll see where he goes.
And one thing about like the Australian media as well, Xana and Mars, it's just like just let these kids when they're coming up enjoy the moment. Don't add the unnecessary pressure. There's enough on their plate. They're eyeing off and rubbing shoulders with Federer's, Nadal's, Djokovic, and Andy Murray's in locker rooms. There's a camera at every single corner of a Grand Slam. There's their family, the messages that they're getting from their friends to respond to, people heckling them for a free ticket, you know what I mean? All that type of stuff.
That's right.
Like they've got enough on their plate to deal with. Just
a lot of pressure.
Go easy on them. Go easy on them, you know what I mean? And it's just, the Australian media, it really is relentless, especially on, I believe, and I'm not trying to sound sexist here, I think they do go a bit harder on the Australian male players than what they do on the women. And I think it needs to stop. Just, I hope this doesn't happen. But if Alex loses in the first rounds of Raonic is making Grand Slam finals, right? They're going to be down his back. But
they're going to say Raonic has got this and that.
Yeah. But like,
you can see the headlines.
Be happy for him that this summer of the Australian tennis he cracked the top 10. Like we should be celebrating that and saying, good on you, Alex. You gave it an unbelievable crack. It is actually a bit of a poor draw for him. So. Yeah. Anyway, let's not talk much more about the media any longer because I don't like speaking about media or anything like that. And time. Just on that section of the draw as well, before you click to the next frame for third quarter, what a mouth-watering third round potential encounter. Last year's semi-finalist Karen Khachanov as a 15th seed could be coming up against Francis Tiafoe, the 17th seed. Both big hitters of the ball. Tiafoe's a two-time quarter-finalist at Melbourne Park in previous years. They both love it down here. They've both gone deep. I'm telling you now, if that's on a John Cain in the third round, good luck getting a seat for that one. We're going. Yeah, we're going. I'm watching that one.
That's a bit of I've watched Khachanov as well. I was there for when he versed that Kyrgios, the 5-setter. Mate, what a match.
The super tiebreaker.
Yeah, mate, what a match. I was there losing it.
The ebbs and flows of that was probably as volatile as a crypto coin.
As a crypto market, 100%.
It's just going up and down, up and down, up and down. And you got 5 minutes of it, Mars. That was a phenomenal game.
Unbelievable. All right, so we'll touch, as you said, we'll go to the third quarter and we'll go to Holger Rune. Seed number 8, world number 8. Then you've got a Griekspoor 28, Ugo Humbert, who can definitely play. I think he's a top 15 player. Herkax, world number 9. Grigor Dimitrov, who we touched on earlier, against Fukosovic. Always get that name.
It's a
hard one.
Yeah, that is.
Yeah. How could I forget our man here? Offner against Kokkinakis.
And then we've got
and then we've got and this is a really good game. I think it'll be Ogo Aliassim against Dominic Thiem, and then we've got Medvedev down the bottom. Make of it as you will.
Firstly, sorry to jump in. Massive shout out.
Wait up.
To a gentleman that I know personally. Okay.
Yeah, go.
Bring the draw back up. Good. Massive shout out to how can I say this? I'm just thinking of the right words to structure this sentence. He saw, we touched base about early success. The former US Open Junior champion saw success pretty early, had a few hiccups in his career, but for the first time since 2017, where he made the second round of the Oz Open, he beat Ilya Marchenko in the first round, lost to Joe Wilfred Tsonga back then in the second round. Congratulations to Omar Jasika for qualifying in the men's qualifying.
Yes.
So, massive
That was
story,
big.
massive news. Rounds of applause to him. Really proud of him. He's come leaps and bounds from sort of the controversy that surrounded him years ago.
That's right.
A lot of people wrote him off. A lot of people said, he'll amass to nothing. But you know what, Omar? So rap for you.
He's done well.
Tough draw now in Hercash. You're not playing the qualifiers anymore. Go out there, enjoy it. Don't feel the pressure. Swing freely. Who knows? You might pinch the first set, and it's a different match of tennis all of a sudden.
Correct.
So, best of luck and congratulations for him. And of course, the cock. Good luck to you, mates. And I hope you really have another a healthy 2024 like you did in 2023. And I hope you get a full year on tour and climb up those rankings, which you did, which saw him reach the top 70 for the first time since 2015, I reckon.
I think you can kick on from last year too. You know, that first year back is that base. He gets that full base back of fitness and match fitness, and now he has that residual fitness to go into 2024, and hopefully, kick on.
He made the third. Kokonagis made the third round of the French Open last year. It's the first time since 2015 he made a third round, I think, for a Grand Slam. With him, he's a great player, but he's at the age 27, hitting his prime. He lost the first round in Brisbane and Adelaide now.
To Ricky Hijikata. And he went down at his home tournament in Adelaide to Dusan Lajovic. So probably two opponents you'd expect him to see the W. And Dean, I'm thinking confidence levels and mentality now entering the OO. I'll let you continue. Sorry to cut you off.
That's all right. He's got the game to be, I think, at least top 30 player. If you see him on court,
I agree.
If you see him on court, I can't see what's the weakness really. He's got a good serve, forehand, backhand. He can volley, he can move. And I think I'm hoping his first round opponent, he's playing is Offner.
He's Offner from Austria, world 37.
37.
Flown up rankings and reap the rewards of a great 2023 season.
So I'm hoping, I love Kokonagis as a player. I'm hoping he can beat him first round, be a big game, and then he'll probably play Dimitrov in the second round. It'll be interesting to see how he goes this Oz Open.
Yeah, absolutely it is, and I really hope he.
No, I'm just thinking
he fares up well.
Yeah,
he fares up well. He's got the game, and
he's got it.
Gents, I wouldn't be surprised. Look, he's again with him. It's a game by game. It's a game by game. I would not be surprised if he meets Dimitrov. I reckon that could go 5, and he could potentially cause an upset. I'm telling you now. I really think he plays good tennis against players with one-handed backhands. No, one-handed backhands in particular.
Yeah.
I'll just give you examples. I believe last year at the French Open, he knocked off Stanislas Wawrinka.
That's right.
Wawrinka, yeah.
Indeed.
Okay. He also pushed in the 2021, the COVID Australian Open, second rounds. Went for about 4 hours and 45 minutes. He pushed Stefanos Tsitsipas to 5 sets. Probably could have won it, but I don't think he won 2 sets of tiebreakers. So he actually didn't break Stefanos' serve that day. But I mean, he was big when it mattered and clutch when it mattered most. So I'm going to say, don't be surprised if he can just negotiate his way through to the second round. I've got no doubt in my mind Dimitrov will. The strong local Aussie support, if they get behind him, who knows? I'm going to say he's going to push Dimitrov right to the wire.
I agree. He's got everything there. He's got the ingredients. And that forehand too is it's one of the best on tour. When it's on. When it's on and it's his day, good luck. But I mean, you have a look and you go down to the bottom again, and you've got actually another mouth-watering tie as well with Orgor Aliassime against Dominic Thiem. Thiem coming off that was a wrist injury. He had that for so long.
Yeah, had an inconsistent 2023, Mars. It was his comeback year. It was his comeback year after a long layover, so we couldn't expect too much. But I always say in tennis, and Dean, you probably know this a little bit more or agree with what I'm about to say. If you get a joint injury, they're probably the worst ones.
Oh yeah.
As equal with a wrist. So if you've done a knee, shoulder, ankle, they're probably real sort of concern.
100%.
And your wrist, like look at Juan Martín del Potro, wins the US Open in 2009. His unorthodox forehand was an absolute bullet, one of the best. His wrist gave in the end. Had a long layoff with and spent a lot of time on the under the doctor's knife getting that wrist right. Came good again, but like I think it was the 2018 US Open. He made the final against Djokovic. So that's a long time between drinks. Right. You won the US Open in 2009, finalist in 2018. Wrist injuries, they're just as bad as joint injuries.
Yeah, they are.
So
of course.
Who knows how long it's going to take Thiem to get back to where he once was, or if he even gets back there.
If he does,
we shouldn't really judge because they're bad injuries.
They are. And I think he's back to world number 97. I think that's his ranking there.
Hopefully he can push top 50.
His goal will be to crack the top 50 after Team the words out of my mouth. Top 50, I think is his goal for the end of this season.
Yeah, I agree. He's a good player. It's unfortunate what's happened to him, but, I guess that's the game, isn't it?
Correct. And just quickly on that, his opponent, Felix Auger-Aliassime, probably his worst season on tour last year.
Oh, yeah.
I think he entered in at world number 7 or world number 8.
Yeah, really
lost to Popper, and I think this time last year at the Adelaide International. I think he lost early in the Australian Open, and then just couldn't get rhythm. Had a long layover. I think the back half of last year hardly played any tennis. He slipped to 27 in the world and 27th seed rather for the Australian Open. Really interesting. And just like similar to Stefanos Tsitsipas, he was actually nursed putting cotton wool for Canada's United Cup. So they got knocked out of the groups, Canada. He didn't play a singles match. He played 2 mixed doubles matches only. So he's come in with a bit of an injury cloud over his head.
Don't be surprised if he gets knocked out.
Yeah,
of course, and especially if Dominic Thiem's half or a quarter as good as the player he once was in 2020 when he was crowned the US Open champion. It's not going to be a surprise to myself or I'm sure you two lads if Dominic gets the W over Felix.
I still remember that game. Remember the game we went to, Dean, DM against Kyrgios. Remember that game? What a game that was. If you can bring that form back to here, I mean, you can trouble him, definitely.
Kyrgios had him on the ropes that day. I remember. Up. And then at night, everybody had to get kicked out.
On your champ.
Even with Felix, like last year, I think it was like maybe 5 or 6 tournaments he played in a row. He lost first round in every one of those tournaments.
Yeah.
He's way off, like to where he was. And you know what? Yeah. Even looking at how many finals he's made in tournaments and lost, he's made quite a bit. Like finals at the 250, 500 level. Yeah, I don't know what's the future with him. Hopefully, for himself, he can get back into the top 10. But I think it'll be very hard to be back in that top 10.
And all those young. We can get to Medvedev.
Now, before we do, I'm going to call a smoky in this quarter.
Okay.
There's a guy that represents Russia, Roman Safulin. Probably nobody's heard much about him. Yeah. He's playing unbelievable tennis.
Yeah.
Great form. This is a guy that a couple of years ago, nobody knew who he was. I think he had a couple of big wins in the ATP Cup, which is what the United Cup used to be, obviously, before the women got introduced into it. Sort of made a name for himself and... he hasn't really looked back from there, but he's well into the top 100 now. Real grinder, gives his 120%. Don't be surprised if he knocks off Greek 4, who's a 28th seed, and makes it through to the 3rd round where he faces Holger Rune.
Yeah. It's going to be. Anything to add on that thing?
Actually, I watched a little bit of him, but not that much. But let's speak about Holger Rune.
Oh yeah.
What do you think? How do you think he'll go? Well, at the Oz Open and this season, because I know I think his breakout year was 2022. I think he won a Paris Masters 1000. Then last year, I don't think he had as good season as he did 2022. And it'll be interesting to see how he goes. He's not with MOURATOGLOU anymore, so he's separated from that. What do you think, Harry, on Holger?
I think he's a fantastic player, similar to Alex de Minaur, an unbelievable mover. His feet are lightning. Like the way he moves, he's like a greyhound on heat jumping out of the box. Like he's like the way he moves, and he can do that relentlessly for 5 hours.
There's only very few that can do that.
Setup. Correct. His intensity is unbelievable. I think he's definitely a great player. I think he can beat anybody on any given day. Maybe not a Novak or an Alcaraz just yet at Grand Slam level, respectfully, but he's just, again, Dean, I know what you mean. Like last year was a bit of maybe those second year blues of establishing yourself on tour and not sort of reaching the expectation. So this is gonna be another year of maturity for him on tour. I think his ranking of 8 is going to improve. I can easily see him top 5 and maybe pinching Rublev's spot in 5th spot. But again, he needs to bank points and go deep in the slams if he wants to do this. So, I mean, I'm looking at the draw. Greek Sport.
He's got a favourable draw.
28. Yeah, I can see him easily getting through to the 3rd round unscathed, and I think he'll win every match in straight sets. Coming thereafter, 4th round is going to be a bit trickier, where he plays Hubert Hurkacz. So I still think he'll beat Hurkacz in the 4th round, and then expected to meet Daniil Medvedev, who we cannot comment on form just yet about Daniil Medvedev because we haven't seen any lead-ups. But let's not forget, Medvedev late last year did beat Carlos Alcaraz, of course. So who knows with Daniil Medvedev? Are we going to see the last year's edition of Daniil Medvedev where he crashes out in the 3rd round? Or are we going to see in previous years where he's made the final and literally had a peak, healthy, fully fit Rafael Nadal on the ropes? 2 sets to love up, 3 to up, love.
I remember that.
So, and then it goes for 5.5 hours. So let's wait and see.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Interesting to see which Medvedev we get.
Medvedev's an interesting one for me. Like we don't know what to expect from him right now.
I think it's all mental with him as well. I don't know if you remember watching his interview when he lost in the final.
Oh, the press conference,
he just said a few things, and that is like he wants to play for himself, and if he's going to play in a tournament that he wants to play in and miss Wimbledon or something, he doesn't care. Like, I think it got to him. Maybe the crowds, maybe the support. He doesn't have as much support as compared to the other top players. But I really like him as a player. He's a good character on the court.
He's unorthodox as well, the way he plays as well. Can really catch
good
off
to
guard.
watch. Yeah. That's right.
He's good for the game.
For me, I'm just amazed at the tour, right? Like he stands so far behind the baseline.
Oh.
So far behind. Why are people and players so scared to serve and volley against him? I know he can thread the eye of a needle, but like, it's such an obvious tactic. Like, if he's 3 meters behind the baseline, shaping up for a return, serve it, run in,
get him working.
The volley away.
You want it? He can move side to side, but you want to get him working laterally.
Yeah, and if you extend the rallies with him, good luck to you. You're not getting points off him. The longer the rallies go, he's a robot. Better. He's a Russian robot. He's a wall, right? So, but yeah, I just it baffles me. I've hardly seen anybody adopting good old 90s tactic of Sampras serve and volley. And
everyone's gone away from that.
Yeah, it's a lost art, and I think it would work so effectively against Medvedev. But that's why I'm doing this podcast, and I'm not coaching any of the players. Getting paid $100.
Also, no lead-up tournament with Medvedev. I'm pretty sure he said that he wanted to spend maybe New Year's at home and just change it up. I think it's not a bad thing. And look, hopefully, I think he'll go deep. I think he'll at least make semis for me with Medvedev.
He has to. It'll be if he doesn't make the semis, it's a shock.
Yeah,
and by his standards as well. I know he hasn't had that lead-up tournament, but you expect him to go very deep and maybe make a final. To be honest.
Yeah.
And with that, we get on to the fourth quarter. This is a mouth-watering one. We've got Zverev against Kopfer. I mean, we get to Lehechka, who's in a final today at the Adelaide Open. We've got Cam Norrie. We've got Purcell for the Aussies. We've got Casper Ruud, who was in the final last year of the French Open, if I'm correct. We've got Tommy Paul.
The year before.
The year before that, correct. Sorry, yes.
Yeah, that was 2022. He made the final of the US Open and the French Open.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. We've got Tommy Paul. But he move? Talking about movers. We've got Struff Bublik, who... he's like a Kyrgios on court. Anything goes.
He is.
We've got Dan Evans against Sonego, then Gasquet against Carlitos Alcaraz. Thoughts, guys?
Yep.
I'll
let you start, Dean. You can start.
Actually, I want to speak just quickly about Bublik. I don't know if you saw him maybe a few days ago. He did an underarm serve,
and then he did the tweener, the winner.
The tweener, and he went across court. Interesting player. Good to watch.
I love him. He's entertaining. He's always got a cheeky smile on his face, and. I like to see something different. Yeah, he's a character, 100%, and he's
curious. He's the European curious, I think he's taken inspiration of curious, to be honest.
He's a Kazakhstani curious.
Yeah.
I remember that shot that he played where he turned the racket and he played it with. Who does that? That's stuff,
Yeah.
So look, if you want to go watch a player and watch a match, mate, go watch Bublik play because you're going to get some entertainment. He's quality 100%. To watch.
So other than that, but I think, look, probably the quarters will probably be Zverev and Alcaraz. Again,
100%.
I can't see anyone else troubling both of those players.
Maybe Alcaraz, maybe to get through Zverev, but still Zverev playing some great tennis at the moment. So I personally and humbly agree with you.
With Alcaraz, anything is again no lead up tournaments. He's played a few of those exhibition games. First time top seed at the Oz Open. Okay, last year didn't play. He was injured. Season before that. Like top the 30th seed, but first time top seeds, and look, he's got a great game. We all know that. There's the future of the men's side, future of tennis. He's won Wimbledon last year, which was a bit shocked. He actually won Wimbledon. I thought maybe he'll win it in a few more years later on, but he actually won that. But again, I think he should make the final. I think
the only thing that can hurt him is injuries, to be honest.
Yeah.
Or as Zverev serving at 85% for serve for 5 sets.
And if you keep that up, that's crazy.
I don't think Gasquet gets more than. Go on, Dave.
Sorry, my bad. With Zverev, he does. Zverev does play well against the top players in the Grand Slams. He does at least. If he doesn't win it, he at least takes it to 4-5 sets. And
every time.
Yeah, that's right. And like when he got injured at the French Open, was it not last year before? I think he hadn't played Nadal, maybe the quarters. And I think he could have went to 5, but he got injured. And I thought maybe Zverev actually beat Nadal that day.
was
So he
playing
can,
good, yeah.
yeah. Again, he's in form as Zverev. I know he lost to Demonor, but he's serving. He improved his serving a lot. We know how
The
many
joke.
problems
The joke
he
right
had
now.
with
I'm
his
telling you now. It's
serving.
the joke. Yeah.
How many double faults he was doing in his serving. Like, he looked off, but his
Yeah.
motion, like his ball toss now, has got it. It's perfect. He's
The
actually
AMG,
done
mate.
something
He's down
about
back.
it. The
All the
AMG,
cylinders
yeah.
are firing, mate. All the cylinders are firing down at
That's
Alpha Pack, mate. Mate, the
yeah.
V8's pumping. He's playing some great tennis.
Absolutely.
We'll
Absolutely.
move on to Carlitos.
Yeah. Carlos, he's going through easy. I can't see Gasquet getting more than a combined game total of about 9 or 10 games.
Yeah,
he'll win that in straight. He'll then play the winner of Daniel Evans and Sonego. It's a straight set swing there as well.
Yeah, yeah.
Unfortunately, then to the Kazakhstani Kyrgios in Alexander Bublik, he'll wipe him up. He'll wipe him in straight as well. Then it
maybe
gets
this
a
is
little bit more tricky. Maybe it is the lead up, the earlier rounds, literally. You've got Tommy Paul, great season last year on tour as well. Probably America's best player, in my opinion, over the course of the 2023 season. But there's a big but again here. There's a guy there unseeded who I really rate highly from Great Britain, Jack Draper, can play.
Yeah.
I think he'll get through his first round match against Marcus Giron. And then he could even throw an upset by knocking Tommy Paul out himself. So don't hold your breath on Tommy Paul, just getting through to the third and fourth round that easily with Jack Draper in his path. Struff, what about him? Like, he was outside the top 100. He won a Masters event last year as a lucky loser. Like, where did
who does that?
from? He was struggling.
How does that happen?
He was struggling for like many years. Like, I remember his top 30, top 20, gave a lot of the top 10 players hell on court when he used to play him. Just literally just struggled. Was for a good year and a half, 2 years, he was in the top 100. All of a sudden enters into qualifying, loses last round of qualies, wins an ATP Masters. It's like, that is unheard of. Goes from about 110 all the way up to like 30, 40 in the world. And he's got a healthy seating now of 24. So well done to him on last year. But this year, good luck defending those 1,000 points that week you won the Masters in the previous year. So, look, apart from that, look, I think it's going to be straightforward here on paper. Zverev versus Lehechka in the third round. I think Norrie gets through with Ruud to the third round. And I also believe Botnick and Alcaraz meet. Struff's got Hijikata, who always can pose a threat.
Turns it
the
on.
only one I'm really concerned about is actually Tommy Paul, who I rate really highly. I think round two he'll have a tricky match against Jack Draper. Apart from that, I can see the seeds going all through to the third round in this section of the draw.
I've got one for you. Is a young Chinese man in the name of Jerry Shang.
Yeah, the wild card, 180 in the world.
He's very charismatic, flashy. I think he was in Hong Kong last week. He reached the semis and he beat Tiafoe.
Correct.
So, he's got a bit of game. Yeah, Tiafoe. So, he's got a bit of game. One to watch, just one to watch for the future.
Absolutely. And,
Did anyone see... sorry, did anyone see Tiafoe yesterday? Did anyone see him play?
No.
He just played. He lost against Raonic. He just could not be bothered not being on the court. Like, the heat,
one of those ones.
Maybe he got to him. He just, it's Kyrgios exhibition game. So even with him, Tiafoe, like if it's a hot day, it's all mental with him. Yeah.
I can confirm I did spot him last night at a very well-known venue down South Bank Way. He looked in good spirits, Tiafoe.
Okay.
Actually, to be fair, the whole American team were there. Like, Fritz, Tommy, Paul, JJ Wolf, a couple of them were there. So that had dinner. Chris Eubank as well. Yeah, there was.
Chris Eubank.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
The group chat was going off mid-game, and he's like, just get me out of here. Let me get ready.
Get me out of this exhibition. Yeah.
Get the Louis Vuitton on, and we're hitting the town.
That's it.
All right, so. Well, I guess so. Go to our anything else to add?
Predictions, I think, Mars. Apart from what Dean's got to offer now.
So just one thing. So, how many Aussies are in the top 100 for the men's side? I think there's about 9.
Dimina, Sanasi Kokonakis. Who else we got?
Is
Got
it
the
Cooper?
men's and women's? Are you talking? Jason Cooper, I think, slid out. I think he's 112 now.
Purcell?
Purcell is, yeah.
Purcell,
yeah.
Duckworth,
Popperin.
Popperin,
Duckworth and
Thompson,
Popperin.
Kokonakis.
McDonald.
Jordan Thompson.
Jordan Thompson, sorry. Yep,
Jordan Thompson.
Yeah.
So there's actually quite a bit. Like, I think I was probably the first time.
Christopher O'Connell.
O'Connell, yes.
Yeah, O'Connell. So it's about, I think about 9. Though it's pretty good. Like, the men's game for Aussie side, it's and
I think Alexander Bukic as well.
Yeah, that's right.
I think he just got into the top 100. So there's a lot of Aussie men. You're right. It's the first time in a long time we've seen that many Aussie players.
And I don't know if you saw yesterday on social media, MOURATOGLOU.
I know what he was referring to there, Mars. Happy to take over once he drops back in.
Okay.
So, big news. I think this needs to happen. I think it's needed to happen from years and years ago. By 2027, Patrick MOURATOGLOU is going to have an academy based here in Australia.
Just based on the amount of
players.
Yes, I did see that.
Been saying it for years. We've got the infrastructure. As in the Grand Slam, we've got the facilities, we've got the resources. What we don't have is the discipline, the setup, and the mentality, and the pathways and the progress like the Europeans and the South Americans do. We can produce players, top 300, top 200, top 100 even. We struggle to get into the top 50 and make a household name. Similar to what the French do as well to a certain degree. But, I mean, he doesn't just work with the French players. He works with all types of players, like Holgaroon from Denmark. He's worked with Tsitsipas before in the past. He's worked with Coco Gauff. He goes all over the world, and I think this can only benefit Australian junior players and aspiring male and female players that want to become professional one day. And I think Australia is going to definitely reap the rewards of it. And don't want to sound controversial, go personal, but I think Tennis Australia is a little bit backwards in its development. We just spoke about, Dimina, top 10. Well, let me tell you something. He applied and learnt his trade in Spain. Didn't learn his trade.
Sorry.
Yeah. Yes. Welcome back, Dean. I covered you. I know what you mentioned. Patrick MOURATOGLOU. Patrick MOURATOGLOU, obviously, in 2027, he's going to have an academy here in Australia and produce more and more players. But not just players.
Fantastic.
I think I was just saying to Mars, we're struggling with top 50 players, let alone seeded players. And I was just saying, without getting controversial, I think Tennis Australia's development, their systems, we're well behind the 8 ball with Europe.
It's ancient.
I agree.
Yeah, it's ancient. And I think him doing this, I think he'll definitely be a competition for TA, but he will assist and develop more better players in future. And, like even Alex Dimina, he's not a TA product. He actually learned and applied his trade at a young age in Spain. He learned over there.
That's right.
So, If it's Leighton Hewitt, the last time we had a top 10 player, we're in dire straits here. We need change, and I hope Patrick and his networks and the MOURATOGLOU Academy helps and develops players.
It's also a healthy competition for TA as well. I think it gets the wheels in motion for them as well to go, oh crap, MOURATOGLOU's coming. You know what he's got. You know what MOURATOGLOU's done in the game with all these players as well. Yeah. And you go look at TA and you just say, all the players, even current players, some of them are coming hit out that are not afraid to speak their mind. You have your Tomiches and all that, and Kyrgios and So I think it is good that he is coming down, and it couldn't happen soon enough, to be honest.
Yeah,
because I think it's not a highly. I don't know the numbers on this. I'll probably research for the next step, but just kids playing tennis. You don't. I don't know. Do you see a lot of kids playing tennis or wanting to play tennis?
The numbers have dropped. I reckon the numbers have dropped.
What do they want to play now? Probably AFL. You play football. Basketball is a big one now.
Yeah.
So you want to get. You need to get out on the grassroots level, and you need to go and help these kids as well. Get them put a racket in their hand.
And also, it's very important. You need the right people to help them out. I think that's very important to show them the correct technique, how to prepare for the game. Because if you don't have the right people doing it, you won't succeed. But I think obviously MOURATOGLOU knows he'll get the right people. I don't know if we get Australians or Europe, other people from Europe, but I'm happy that's actually finally happening in Australia.
Because we do have the talent there, we need to find, I think, some more talent on the women's side as well. So get some more girls playing the game. So well, I'll get into it. If you've got anything else to add, I've got nothing else to add. Is that it?
Nothing else to add. A friendly reminder though to our viewers: tournament starts for the very first time on Sunday. So the first ever time that the Australian Open is starting on a Sunday, and it is now a 15-day tournament of main draw.
All right, what do you think of it?
Look, I think for the crowd, it's not that great.
I think it's disappointing, to be honest.
It is because tomorrow will be packed. It's a weekend. A lot of people. The weather will be nice. Less games on.
Doesn't make sense.
Hard to find a seat. Doesn't math. Like, first round over 3 days. Like, I don't like it. I know that the matches may finish late. That's why they decided to change it. But that's part of our sport. It's been part of the sport for all these years, and now maybe some players complain about it. Well, that's how the sport is, and I know. I know. You don't want to finish at 4 a.m. in a game. I know that, but sometimes
4:30 on 2 occasions.
Yeah.
But it's
you were Baghdadis.
Yeah.
And last year, Murray and Kokonakis.
Yeah.
What's the years between them? It's kind of an anomaly, to be honest.
2008 and 2023.
I mean, it doesn't happen every game.
It doesn't. Okay, 100%. But that comes down to scheduling. Now,
correct.
I love the tournament. I love what they've done for the fans. The grounds look absolutely amazing this year. It's gone up another level. For the fans, they make it great. I genuinely believe them adopting the French Open method. The French Open need to play the Sunday because once upon a time they didn't have sufficient lighting to the clay.
Correct. That's right. Yeah.
That's why they had to get it. Now it's a night tournament. We've got closed roofs on 3 stadiums. Melbourne's weather is inconsistent. We get that, but rather than starting it on a Sunday and having a bangage of lineup with the ticket supply versus the amount of seats that are available for those outdoor courts, it's going to be horrendous, Dean. It's going to be. I agree with you.
It is.
Not every court's in action.
Lines everywhere.
Right?
Everywhere.
There's going to be lines everywhere, and I honestly believe they've thought about it from a commercial and revenue point of view, rather than the fan perspective, or maybe even a TV rights deal perspective. You know what I mean? So, I think it should have happened, and the solution should have been right. If a male or female match has gone 2 a.m., we call curfew like they do at Wimbledon. Obviously, there's 11 p.m. We'll call it at 2 a.m. We'll resume the next day.
Correct.
Simple. Yes, there's going to be rain. Yes, there's going to be 42-degree days. Okay, you can't control that. We're not going to blame the Australian Open for that.
Control what you can control.
To avoid a 4:30 game. And on top, which was even more pathetic, Andy Murray wanted to go to a toilet. It was like 3 in the morning.
Yeah.
And they didn't allow him during the middle of the match.
Right.
Come on, mate. Like, are we serious?
Yeah.
Are we serious? Like, common sense ain't common sense anymore, unfortunately. So, look, don't get me wrong. Love the tournament. Done a lot of great things, yes. But for sort of the 80% that they've done good, the 20% with this.
Yeah.
Outweighs the 80.
That's right.
It's just, outweighs the 80. It's given people a bit of a salty taste in the mouth, I think.
Because I had a look yesterday and I was going through and I'm like, the first day, I'm like, obviously, Sunday, there's going to be ample amount of people. You think courts will be full. We're going to put all the, not all the best games, obviously, but I thought, you're going to have a lot of games on. I go look and I'm like, and then I look at the quality of the matches.
I've actually got the order of play here. So Rod Laver, Margaret Court, right, are active. So too is John Cain. So the three big
Correct.
ones. Have a look at this though. Traditionally, a day session, right, is 3 matches. Either 2 women's and a men's, right?
Yeah.
So we've got Sinner against Van der Zandschulp round first game on at a 12 o'clock start into Sakari and Habino on Rod Laver Arena. Then on the schedule it says intentionally blank. So what are you going to do? Pinch one of the outdoor matches and move
put
it
it
into Rod Laver Arena?
Yeah.
You're shortchanging the people that have bought the ground pass, mate.
Money,
From there,
that's right.
Margaret Court, the exact same. The third match has been intentionally blank, and you've got Hontama versus Krejcikova as the first game starting at 12 into Sabirth Wild and Andrei Rublev. Great. Those players with the big seats deserve those courts, but
correct.
You're shortchanging the ground pass, or you're shortchanging the people that have paid
right.
an arm and a leg for Margaret Court and Rod Laver Arena tickets. Look, to be fair, they have honoured the night session being 1 men's, 1 women's, and back to back. So that's as per normal. But I mean, John Cain Arena is famous for a night session as well in the earlier rounds of the Open. They've got Leila Fernandez on first against Bejlek from Czech Republic. Then it's Dane Sweeney against Francisco Cirendulo. And Taylor Fritz versus Diaz da Costa, and it's game over. So they don't have 3 or 4. They don't have 4 or 5 scheduled matches like they normally do. It's, to me, abysmal and atrocious scheduling.
It's disappointing.
I thought it would have been.
So for outdoor courts, right? So normally outdoor courts get from Key Arena all the way to like court 22, whatever it is. Okay? And everything in between. So outdoor courts, John Cain ground pass gets you the upper levels, your ground pass ticket. I'm looking now. Kia Arena, okay? You've got 3. So Kia Arena's got 4 matches. They've made it a bit friendlier there for the ground pass. Okay, great. So that's one arena, court. 1573 Arena, only 3 matches. Show Court 3, only 3 matches.
3.
Pathetic. Court 6, only 3 matches. On an 11 a.m. start, these are, by the way, So play's going to be wrapped up by 4, 5, 6 o'clock.
By 4, 5 o'clock, if that,
Court 7, 3 matches. Court 13, 3 matches. And Court 17, 2 matches.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sorry, they've got it wrong. If they were
going to, I thought if they were going to bring the tournament forward, you have an extra day off, and then both women and men's play on the same day, on the Sunday, and you have the Saturday off. Yeah. Obviously, you don't want to lose money because you're going to lose revenue at the ground, so you're giving away a free day. But I thought, I don't know. I just don't know.
No,
or maybe they could have scheduled all the doubles matches on the Saturday, so all those finals on the Saturday, and you have the 2 big ones on the Sunday. You know what I mean? You're bringing it forward, but
I'm all for adapting. I'm all for adapting, but this is poor adapting.
It's probably here to stay, though, I think. I don't think they'll change it.
It is.
I think
it is.
Yeah,
they're not. This is going to be the new norm. This is going to be the new norm.
And what else is a disgrace as well, just before we wrap up, is the qualifying. You pay to go to it when you never had to pay to go to qualifying.
Yeah. $10 a ticket. But you know what?
It's only $10,
on that, Marzo, we know the struggles players from 150 plus in the world, in both men's and women's, go through. And to be fair, if it's only $10, which is reasonable in today's day and age, in today's economic climate, but which it has, the qualifying prize money does go up, which it has.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it has gone up. I'm all for it. I'm actually all for it.
Yeah.
You know what? $10
as long as it goes
unlimited
to the
players between 100 to 250 in the world. I'm all for it. I'm happy to give that $10.
Yeah.
As long as it goes to the players and not the tournament organisers in their pockets.
Yes. And I think the exhibition games, I think that goes to charity as well. Yeah. Or the ticket. I think it's $20 a ticket for the exhibition games. That goes to charity, which is good to see.
See, I've got a different idea on that. For me, okay, I get it. There's more to life than just tennis. There's cancers, there's sicknesses, there's illnesses, there's misfortune. I get all that. I'm all for it. However, great that the Australian Open has done this. I genuinely believe the whole tennis community should make this a little bit bigger and do it all across the world where, yes, we do some for charity, but they have to look after their own pocket. And what I mean by that is in the lead up to a Wimbledon, a US Open, do that. And rather than it going to charity, if they raise, for example, $1 million in ticket sales and TV rights and all that type of stuff, I think that money should be split accordingly from players 250 in the world all the way to 1,000 in the world to help them with their travels, to their coaches, because we all know if they don't have a rich mother or father or a coach or a sponsor behind them, they're losing money. They're losing money every week. It's actually really sad to us. So that's just my 2 cents. I hope someone sees this and listens to me and says, geez, I'm onto something, because I think it can help a lot of players and create a lot of more financial assistance for these types of players.
I totally agree. Before we end it, we've got to get our dark horses and winner of the men's side. We've got to do that. So I'll start with you, Dean.
Yep.
Dark horse to go deep. Maybe win it.
I like Zverev as a dark horse.
Okay, Zverev.
Like he's hitting great.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Yeah.
So hitting great. Again, talk about the serve. Serves are reliable now, great motion. And yeah, he's my dark horse.
Harry?
Yeah, I think based on the way I saw him play at the United Cup, dark horse is Zverev, although I do not believe he can win it.
Yeah.
Geez, it's so tough to predict a winner. Give me a 50-cent coin. Heads is Novak, tails is Alcaraz. It's
lands on the middle.
I mean, it's the old I reckon we're going to get a similar final to what we did at Wimbledon. I reckon it's going to go 5 between them two in the final.
Yeah. Winner then?
As long as they're all fit and healthy. As long as they're both fit and healthy.
You got to give me a winner.
I'll go Novak. I'll go Novak for 11.
Right.
I'll go Novak for 11.
Your winner, Dean?
Novak. Yeah, he'll win his 11th Australian Open.
Sick. Yeah.
And 25th overall.
25th. Wow.
All right, I'll give you mine.
Quarter of a ton.
I'll give you my dark horse.
Go on.
That's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Mine's going to be Rublev. I had him as a dark horse last year, so I'm going to stick with that again. And then, you know what? I'll make it the trifecta because I love this bloke. Absolute gentleman of a bloke as well, the Joker. How can you beat him? And for betting,
I don't think Alcaraz can beat him. Nobody else in the draw can beat him right now.
Nah, and for betting references, you know when he lost to Alex de Minaur, went out to $2.48 on the exchange. Went out from $2.10 to $2.40, straight back into $2.10. Tells me everything I need to know and where he's at. Just for talking betting purposes. So yeah, I think he'll secure the 11th title. You'll see what is it, number 25?
5. You have the most ever in men and women.
Yeah, well, we got to compare both, don't we, in the woke world? So we got to compare against Margaret Court. So as soon as he passed Nadal, we're comparing him to women. But yeah, that 25, when he gets to that mark, wow, I think he can kick on to 27.
In the hardest and the best era of tennis.
Agreed.
Oh, yeah.
Agreed.
He'll have his new jacket, hopefully 25 on it.
25.
You know?
We'll try and search for it. We'll buy that one too.
I don't think with Djokovic, Nadal, Federer, look, I don't think we'll see that again. 3 of the best players ever. How many Grand Slams have they won together? Well, over 60? We need to see that. It's actually
24, 22.
Yeah,
and 20. So 22, 42, and 24, 66.
Correct.
66. Yeah.
Ridiculous. We've grown up in the greatest era of sportsmen you'll ever see, to be honest.
100%.
To be honest, Messi, 100%. Ronaldo, that's a discussion for another day, but it's absolutely LeBron, unbelievable. Kobe. It is what it is. You can compare. You can say he's the GOAT. You've got facts for each. But Djokovic is the GOAT, and you just have to deal with it.
Yep,
that's right.
Undisputed now. Undisputed. Yeah,
undisputed.
Yeah.
So with that, I think we'll end with that. If you haven't already subscribed, make sure you subscribe. We'll be back after round 2 and round 4 for all the review and preview of the first round and the second round. And yeah, if you haven't dropped a like, make sure you drop a like. Drop a comment who you think will win, or a talking point. Raise a question with us. We're happy to answer it. So yeah, thank you, Dean, and thank you, Harry, for.
Thanks, Chandler.
I didn't think we'd go to 2 hours.
Thank you, Jen.
We've nearly cracked the 2 hour mark.
Wow.
Absolutely unbelievable.
Yeah.
Maybe we might have to catch up and go for a hit one day. So yeah.
Yeah, that'd be
Anyway.
good. That'd be good to do.
All right. We'll sign off. Take care. See you, lads. See you later.
See you guys. See you later.